And we're live. Hello all and welcome back to the Sigil stream. My name as always is Mr. Harlan Guthrie, and I'm joined once again by my lovely wife, Mrs. Jill Guthrie.
Scary dinosaur!
We are joined once again by the amazingly enigmatic Erica. Happy belated birthday!
Thank you!
Happy birthday! We are joined by the incomparable Jay.
Hello.
And of course, the one and only Garrus Gary the Horns Jetson.
Look at a little Bob Ross.
Oh, we're doing show and tell
Bob
tonight.
Ross bobblehead. Yeah!
Bobble Ross.
And we are back with
Bobble Ross.
Hereafter Chapter 7. Which actually has more of a this note right now.
List of the applause players.
Is the applause not showing up for you guys?
No.
Okay, let me fix
Bummer.
that real quick.
Harlan's
I
really
wasn't just
spamming
doing
it too.
that for a workout. I was,
Yeah.
I was
Here we go. Now is it showing up?
yeah.
My apologies. My apologies.
Weird how natural it sounds to have that sound
Yeah.
on this. Ah, there we go. Things better.
Yeah, it's
The relief.
It's real breathe easy. So yeah, all of the clap just cut it back
All
in.
the pregnant
We're here.
pauses.
The pregnant pauses. We are back with Hereafter Chapter 7, which is one of these sounds, but also should be one of these sounds, because it ended the last episode on a bit of a chasm hanger.
Chasm hanger.
Because you were in a chasm, not a cliff.
That's true. Well,
That's right. We were on a cliff.
There was a cliff down.
Yeah.
There was a cliff involved.
There was a cliff down.
There is a cliff to every chasm.
There's a cliff down.
Yeah.
Cliff to every chasm.
Oh, that's so nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And there's
Thank
this rainbow behind every thunderstorm.
Anyway, how's everybody doing? Erica, it was your birthday. Happy belated birthday.
Thank you. Thank
Big
you.
round of
I had
applause for
wonderful
you.
sex. And then I turned my phone on Do Not Disturb and talked to nobody. It was wonderful.
It's the way to do it. Don't
Those are
talk to
good days.
nobody. Never. That's exciting, though. What about you, Jay, Gary? Have you had a good week? What the hell day is it?
It's Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Oh,
Yeah.
God, it is, isn't it? Oh, no.
Why is that so bad, Gary?
It's not that it's that bad. It's just like, why didn't I know that?
Well,
I didn't know it
Kind of
either.
knew.
Honestly, I
It's-
think it
life's
all
hard.
gets lost in the mix in the end. But what's up with you, Gary? What's new?
I'm trying to think. I'm narrating an audiobook, which I
casually
do a
throwing that
lot of
out?
the time. I think I had something I wanted to talk about, and it was like really mundane, and I have since forgotten what it was.
Oh no.
But it was
What's
like
super
that time.
mundane and recent?
Well, like the time I discovered the correct height for me, for my desk to be at.
Oh yeah,
being-
that was
I don't-
riveting.
I don't sit down to narrate anymore at all. There is no chair in there.
You just
stand.
Erica, you were using a standing desk for a while when you were streaming as well. I remember you like rocking
Look at
back and
Erica's
forth
posture.
a little bit.
I
helped.
still like just rock back and forth. It doesn't matter. But I have one of my nice little wobble stools, so I get it just accentuates the rocking around.
Well, you also have excellent posture,
Not like me.
Erica.
Constant gremlin
Yeah.
action.
Well, Erica also has an interview show, as you can see in her background.
That's right.
She's got the setup, the
And what's the name of that
Between two
interview?
the Frost Nixon. Yeah,
Where
between
can we
two.
find
yeah.
that interview show?
Yeah. What's the name of
It'll
that?
be posted between. It's called In the Middle of a Random Assortment of IKEA Furniture. Have
you ever seen Mastermind?
Over the name, but other than that,
Yes.
There's
No.
a British quiz show called Mastermind.
Yeah.
and
I
remember that
joke,
show.
the back of your like chair setup is kind of similar to how they set it up. It's just two chairs, a light, and Quizmaster asking the fucking hardest questions about the most niche topics. It's crazy. Good
You
show
have
though.
to be a mastermind to get it.
You do? Yes, you do.
I
That's the
love
name.
a good British quiz show.
I mean, they're the best.
Yeah.
Would I lie to
And
you?
also
I mean, I guess a
Japanese
lot of those
reality
quiz shows are
quiz shows too are
What's
very
the one?
good.
Am I old enough? Have you seen that one?
What the
They
fuck?
send toddlers out on like errands to be like, okay, go to the shop and get me a bottle of milk and some other things, and they just let the toddler go, and they go on these weird tangents and like
They
"Mommy
used to
wanted
just-
this."
They used to just do that in like the 60s and 70s though. They'd be like,
Yeah.
I mean, my mom even tells me that she used to go to the store and get cigarettes for her mom. Kind of a sad story, but that they would also get candy. Like they would fake out how much money it actually cost, and with the change, her and her sister would get candy.
The
And
Brits
she must have been like
and the
7.
Japanese have quiz
Got it sorted.
shows just locked in for exactly what I want out of a
I
quiz
like
show.
the one. There's a Japanese quiz show or like game show where you have to be quiet in a library.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
And they're
the boxing
hurting
game
each other?
one? That's
Yeah, yeah.
so funny. That's like
That's
a
awesome.
Japanese comedy troupe, and they do it
Yeah.
every year.
That's great.
And has
I
like
think there's-
Matsumoto and those other. Yeah, I love
There's
it.
You know who
one-
doesn't have the quiz show cornered? Americans. I saw, I was flipping through, who flips through anymore? I was scrolling through something,
That's right.
and I saw a clip, and it was really funny of this show, and it was an American quiz show, and the guy is like, how much will you bet, how much will you offer to eat this onion whole? And there's 3 people, and I was like, oh, this show sounds great. And, I'll do it for $200. And the person next to them's like, I'll do it for $150. And the person's like, I'll do it for $110. And they're like betting against each
I'll eat
other, right?
everything, skin and all, $90.
And then it ends up like the person, sold $50. You'll eat this onion whole, and the person walks up and then just like eats it like an apple,
Was
and they
the
like
background
kind of
really colorful, like rainbow
Yes,
colorful?
yes,
Was there a real
yes.
tall guy there?
yes.
That's called
So-
Game Changer.
Yes, I
Oh,
saw
yeah.
that. I saw that. And I was like, that's great. And then I watched like an episode, and none of the fun stuff is in it. It's not any of that. Like that is a segment of a much larger, much stupider. Like all the other things that they fill the show with, it just bogs it down. I was like, this isn't funny, and this isn't funny or
Well-
interesting. But that scene was great. I was like, just make a show about that. That's all I
Every
want. I just want people
episode
wagering
is-
on things.
Yeah.
Every episode is different of Game Changer. That's the
Yeah.
pick.
But that's
Which is really great because a lot of them are total bangers, and I know
Yeah,
which
but-
one you're
Oh,
talking
yeah.
about, and that
to
one
me
rules.
you take the concept of people getting hurt in a library and you just do that's it. You don't need to make it different all the time. And to me, that's what I
Sometimes
mean
they
by
s-
the Brits and the UK have it or the Brits and the Japanese have it locked in. Because Would I Lie to You is a UK show, simple as it is. You literally tell a story, and then you just have to figure out whether you're lying or not. That's it. You don't complicate it with
a
like
good one.
changing it. You just do that forever, and you have funny people doing it, and it's the best.
To that
You know what I mean?
point, Game Changer has now 2 spin-offs that only do a certain thing from certain
Okay.
episodes.
Well, then I want to watch that.
Yeah,
To
one's
me,
called
I-
Make Some Noise, and the other's called,
Yeah.
I think, it's not out yet, Play It By Ear. It's improv musicals.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's
okay.
right.
Just the
Because
real
this,
stuff is
all
there.
I mean is the segment I watched. I was like, if that's the show, I want to watch the show. And then I watched the show, and I was like, that's not the show, and it's disappointing. And the same with that. Is it cake? There was like an Is It
Yeah.
Cake, and I watched it. I was like, that's a great concept. And then you're like, oh no, they make a good idea bad
Oh.
because it's the way Americans do reality TV. It's like, like, and it's all stretched out.
there's-
It's like
Challenge.
interviews and
There's
it's
like an Asian version of the like Is It Cake game, which I
Chocolate.
think it came out of where the contestants are in a room
It's probably 1,000
and there's a
times
few
better.
items that are made of cake or candy and they have to figure out what they are, but the only way they can figure it out is by trying to eat it.
Yeah, I've seen that.
So there's a
Biting it.
lot of shots of very trepidatious nibbling on
yeah.
household
To me,
items.
just keep it.
And sometimes they're just like,
Yeah. I feel like the American mode is like cram it with as much shit
Yes.
as possible
Well,
and then see
Michelle.
what sticks. And I hate that. I'd rather just give me one distilled dumb thing and run it for 100 seasons, and that's all you need. Like, just
There's also the
ever.
problem of like the American stuff gets like a really weird mean-spirited vibe to it because
That
the British
too.
show Taskmaster really fun.
Yeah.
But
So
it's
good.
a
Joe
problem.
loves, yeah.
love that show.
And then
Me
it's like
too.
they're really clever, but then they made an American version, and it's the same premise, fun. But the people that we have
Mean.
involved are like really mean to each
Yeah, it's
other.
very competitive and very
Yeah,
shitty.
it's very like, okay, you guys see, we all hate each other. Stop.
Yeah,
We need
no,
more
I agree.
Bake Off in our lives.
Yeah. But then again, Great British Bake Off is great. And then they do, I haven't seen an American version, but I'm sure they have tried it and it failed because I think just certain things just don't translate well.
Yeah.
Can you
Some
please
of those
put up some of these
pictures
gifts?
are
I'm
so
dying.
The picture frame is chef's kiss.
Yeah, I'm gonna throw that one.
I'm dying.
Regardless, so all of this is to say is that I'm all in for these quiz shows, but it really depends on who's doing them because I've been I've been hurt before. I've been disappointed before.
Oh man, that's a Japanese game show. What is it?
It's so good.
Yeah.
Oh,
Just trying different things.
and then the doorknob.
I also appreciate that they're all wearing suits.
Of course, you have to.
You know, it's like very, very fancy
You
version.
eat the wrong thing, it is your funeral, so dress for it.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, American producers, because I know you watch this. Stop it. Stop making those shows worse. Just keep it simple, stupid.
Do the thing.
That
is
picture
all we
frame
want.
one
There's
is really
some
getting
teeth
me.
marks in that.
All right, I'm doing the picture frame.
I can't eat it.
Sucky.
It's just his mouth, the shape of his mouth.
It's
And
disappointment
his little
and
eyebrow,
disgust.
his little eyebrow twinge. I'm loading it up now.
Thank you for joining us to this
Oh
very
my God.
important stream. You have to show the one where he's just doing a good job, though.
Yeah, otherwise it's gonna look like I said, the weirdest.
It's just like a weird fetish
I'm just
show.
flooding the StreamYard with GIF overlays. It's great. We'll have them for next week too. Oh,
I'm
that was too
glad.
large. I can't, unfortunately.
Oh, bummer.
We'll never get to see the
powerful.
satisfaction.
But he was
Yeah.
happy about it.
Just have to. join the
Colin says
Discord, I
hopefully they
suppose.
have dental insurance for the people on the show.
Anyway, yeah, to me, like every time I've seen a cool pitch for a game show and then it's American, I'm always like,
They ruin it.
Like getting geared up for disappointment because they just can't. They just have to fuck with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like what happens, and honestly, I feel like this is true. Some person will come up with an idea. Here's the pitch, and it's a good idea, and then the American producers who are like 60-year-old white dudes who don't know what Netflix is and go, well, what how does Google track my phone? They're the kind of people who come in and go, we need it to be faster and cut, and let's get this appeal and that appeal, and let's use this Gordon Ramsay because don't get me ranting on Gordon Ramsay because I used to love Kitchen Nightmares, and the American Kitchen Nightmares is like. It's so bad. It's nothing
pretty bad.
compared to the UK. Like the UK is like, here's two people, and this is what they do. This is the shop they work at. Gordon Ramsay's gonna help them, and he'll come and he's like, "Hi, how you doing? Okay, let me see you." And then the kitchen is like, "Tonight on Kitchen Nightmares, spaghetti like you've never seen. What the fuck is this?" And it's just like so revolting. The nature of the way the show is presented. It's so bad. It drives me nuts.
See, that's why you don't watch the ones that have been adapted. You watch the ones that have been made specifically in America for Americans. Bar Rescue is good trash. I love it. It's
I
so
can't
bad.
stand the
It's so
trash.
American.
I'm sorry. I can't.
It's the most hilarious thing of like if someone was going to come and scream at me about my business failing, and I was just going to like disagree with somebody who I deliberately asked to be in here. This is how I want it to happen.
Yeah, I can't do it. Honestly, the trash TV. Like there was a point maybe 10 years ago where I was kind of like, oh, you know what? There's trash American TV. It's kind of fun, and I'd watch some of it. Now I don't know what it is, but something about like the whole nature of how prevalent that is everywhere. Like the nature of like even TikTok videos being of the ilk of like reality TV. It's gross. Is he just
Standard entertainment quality is kind of ticking down a lot. Like, what is fast? What is immediate? What is now?
for real? And I think again, I complained about it because I'm old. But when I opened TikTok and it was like blam in your face, like constant. I was like, oh wow, this is so clearly like
The beginning of every stream, Harlan has to complain about TikTok.
sorry.
I think it's trending. It's trending.
I was looking at Tic Tac and I just
Tic-tac.
couldn't deal with it.
If you wanna watch something-
I like the jokes on it. Probably, I don't know.
I can't
like
deal with
Vine.
the prank stuff.
Yeah.
No one
I don't like
likes the prank stuff. Nobody
No.
does.
Someone
It's
does.
mean.
Yeah.
It is mean.
There's a lot of mean spiritedness, and I
Mean-
think Erica nailed
Mean
it.
memes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think. Well, I don't know. I think you know what? I think there's a bit of like projection. When you see someone being like mean spirited, I think it strikes a few chords for a few different people. The kind of people who are like, oh, that's bad, but that like feels fun to do, or the people who are like, God, I wish I could do that to my husband, or like like different. I think it does. Like I think it strikes different things, different like fantasies get lived out when you see pranks because you're like, oh
It's
wow, they got
pretending
away
to be
with it.
rich because you have no consequences.
Well, that's
Yeah,
it,
everybody
right?
laughed. I mean,
It's
I
sort
know
of
they're
like-
not happy, but
It's the epitome of like flaming someone online. Like, it's
Yeah.
like, oh, fuck you. It's like, ha ha ha. I get to watch the fallout of something bad happen, and that's why
same
people
with
slow
Rogue.
down on accidents.
Have you all
What's
seen
super
Bradley
popular?
Thor?
No.
He is a real handsome dude, chopping wood.
Oh.
That's all he does. Chops
I
wood.
have seen that. That's
Harlan's
come up on
running
my-
there right now.
He's like,
It's nice.
he is a very handsome gentleman and like is clearly good at his craft. But when he finds a log and it's like, he picks it up and knows that he doesn't need the axe to crack it. So he just like, Captain America rips it in half. It is a thirsty channel.
I mean, there are some
Every
people
fetish.
who take care of stuff like that on Twitch. There's like I saw there was a what is it called? Like a blacksmith Twitch. I don't remember if it was a man or a woman, but they were extremely attractive, and they were just like hammering stuff, and you didn't even really see their face because it's showing their work, but like glistening forearms
Yeah.
and whatnot.
I fucking
know.
quickly Googled it. I was like, who's this Bradley Thor? And I wrote Cradley Thor.
His lesser
Can we please have a character in this campaign called Cradley Throw?
Can we? Oh god, that'd be amazing.
He's just a lumberjack.
It's like Bradley Throw, Cradley Throw. Did you mean Cradley Throw? Google's like trying to help me, like I'm an old grandparent.
Of the East Hampton Cradleys?
Did you want him to throw something? I can help you.
Of the Upper West Side throws.
Yeah.
That's good.
Oh, Cradley Throw. Anyway, yeah, there's a lot of niche. I mean, that stuff that to me is great. You know, sure,
Yeah,
you
fair
want to watch
play.
someone chop wood for hours, do it. It's so much better than like
Go for it.
pranks and shit and like.
Although we do love a good prank day in this house.
But you know what? Like, but that, I mean, those are
A good fun
A, those
prank.
are not pranks we film, and B, they're we've never filmed a prank.
I filmed you once try to put on a coat that was full of plastic
Oh,
bags.
that was for us. That was because you wanted to show me, and you felt really good.
Like in the
prank.
sleeves or in the
Yeah,
pockets?
yeah, in the
she put
sleeves.
and I was like trying to.
And then after he put it on, he's like, all right, whatever, go upstairs. It's time for you to go to sleep. Because like had just come home from midnights and I was still there filming. He's like, what? Goes to put on his boots, also full of bags.
Yeah,
You just hear like,
Yeah.
it was
That's
great.
good.
But you know, I saw recently like a prank video, and it was like a woman and her son, like he was like 4, and they had silly string, and they're like, David's gonna be home any minute, and he walks in the door, and they like spray him, and he's like, you know, and he like drops his motorcycle helmet, and they're like spraying him, and it's just like silent. He's like wiping it, and the little kid like sprays him. He's like, "Fucking stop!" And he like turns around and walks out. And there's like a long, awkward pause, and she just turns around and like turns off the phone, and it like made my stomach hurt. I was like, "Oh no!"
like that.
It
But
felt
then
so
they
sad.
still
Real life,
decided to
that was not a
post
good
it,
decision.
you know?
Well, I don't know. Maybe it was
That's the
evidence
thing.
for divorce. Or
Yeah.
something. It definitely was not staged. It was one of those things where it's like, you know, when you because like the way it was filmed was like low quality.
Well, and getting a 4-year-old to go along with it in a convincing way.
It was like you could tell that it didn't
sad.
make me feel good, and then it was like the epitome of pranks because like you know,
I saw a fucking video where there was a mom
better.
who was like spraying her kid's hair for a haircut, and she was filming it and laughing, and you know she was spraying it, and then she just kept going and going, and the kid was like, "Mom, stop." Like, stop, I'm all wet, and was getting more and more upset, and the mom was like, yeah, just a little more, and it was like, this is turning abusive, and you know, posting it for the fucking
some of the
internet.
shit, man. I remember seeing this.
Technically harmless.
Yeah, it's also
Yeah.
teaching your kid that when you say like stop, that someone's
It's
just
really
gonna keep
gross.
going.
I
and-
also saw a video, and it was like posted on Make Me Smile or Make Me Happy. Like there's a subreddit I subscribe to where it's just like nice
Yeah, Make
shit.
Me Smile.
Made Me Smile. Yeah, I
I
love
need
it.
to subscribe to that.
And there was one there that it was like a woman and a young kid who was like probably a 7 to 9, and she's like setting up the camera, and she turns in, she's like, "Get in here!" And he's like, and she like winks at the camera, and she's like yells at him. She's like, "Did you order something? Did you order something that you shouldn't have?" He's like, "No." And he's like panicking. She's like, "What the hell is this?" She like throws it at him. She's like, "What the hell is this? Open it right now!" And like this goes on for like a minute. And then he opens it, and it's like an iPhone, and he smiles. She's like, "Happy birthday!" And I was like,
That's
"No,
not okay.
Like, what was your plan here? Like, make your kid feel like shit, and then teach them not." And it was like so clear, like this kid has been yelled at 1,000 times. That my takeaway was only like, that's what it would look like normally, minus the happy ending, and it bummed me the fuck out. And I was like, why are people looking at this like made me smile? Like this is sad. It's so sad to like see a kid who's way too young just get yelled at and then like tricked into getting a reward. Oh, it made me feel gross.
That's the same feeling I get when you see any sort of films of like cops pulling over black people and then giving them a popsicle.
I know.
The exact same
Oh
thing.
yeah.
Disgusting.
And it's the other one that happened for kids specifically. There was this one channel, Daddy of Five, where he just pranked his kids over and over.
Yeah,
again.
didn't they
And I
shut
think
that shit
Oh,
down?
I think
Yeah,
they got
that
removed for
channel.
child
Good.
abuse. They had to go back to stay with their mom. Thank God.
Good.
But I think they were trying to get it started again. So
They fought hard to get
Yeesh.
everything back. They were fucked up
Yeah.
people.
I remember that. The kid was
It
like
happens, yeah.
crying and screaming, and they were like, oh.
yeah.
Man,
Like in pure like rage. Like it was just like I'm impotent rage. I can't do anything
Yeah.
about this. So
Yeah.
I'm just going to scream at you.
I mean,
Sucks.
it's the thing is though, you know, and it's like it's so much clearer now. You look at your own parents and stuff, and you're like, you know, there's literally nothing you need to sign or practice or test you need to do to be a parent. And people wonder why, like, you know, the appeal of TikTok and like and all this stuff, you know, is just like, yeah, making people want to prank their fucking kids because no one's there to be like, hey, that's fucked up. Don't do that.
Yeah.
It's actually funny because the Bo Burnham special inside, he mentions it. There's a part there where he talks about it, where he's kind of like, maybe putting your kids in front of YouTube this generation like wasn't the best thing for their mental health. And I think it's true. I think there's like a huge fallout from it. But
Oh yeah.
anyway, let's be on camera and stream.
Just chop that heavy intro off.
Adult
There's an
here.
Instagram called Wexford Seal Rescue. Go look at the seals.
Well, and you
very
know what,
cute.
Gary? I think that's a great point because I think for every 10, let's be honest, for every 100 for every 1,000 awful, terrible channels, there's a handful of really great stuff that's out there. And thankfully, it you know, people flock to that. Because I think the universal culling, the feeling that all five of us are in agreement with, it's actually spreading a lot. And I think a lot of people who maybe didn't realize and are starting to grow out of that and be like, oh yeah, I don't like that either. I think there is a great people because you know, Primitive Technologies is like one of the most popular YouTube channels.
What about that chef who always cooks things with like the biggest smile on his face, and it's always like huge
Yeah.
vats of food that
Yeah.
just feed underprivileged communities?
Yeah, that dude's awesome.
I think
too.
he's Turkish. I don't remember.
I think
but-
he's Turkish.
He is Turkish, yeah. But yeah, that
He's
kind of
cool.
shit. People are still excited about it, or they are searching it. So I feel good about it. You know,
There will be a culling.
there will be a great culling,
a purge.
TikTok culling. There'll be another big festival. What was that festival that failed? Fire Festival.
Fire Festival.
Purge.
There'll be another fire. All the
Purge
TikTokers
Festival?
will go, and it'll just drink. It'll just sink into the ocean.
I feel like I'd like to say I wouldn't watch a Purge. I think I might watch it.
I mean, I watched the movie.
I don't want
so
it, but-
what's it say
But here's
about
the
rest of
problem. The people who are going to get purged are us, and then the
Yeah.
Logan Pauls are going to be the ones on top. It's just going to help the weird people
Everyone
who
would go for Logan Paul.
Yeah,
He's
but
such a
the dude-
distraction.
He's
That
very
You know what?
strong.
Here's the thing. That's it. I hate this dude. So Logan Paul is a very popular like YouTube streamer, and
Started
he's a
on
total
Vine
asshole.
years ago.
He got it doesn't matter. He's a total fucking piece of shit. And he switched to MMA, and everyone was like, "Oh my god, I can't wait to watch this dude get the shit kicked out of him." But he's like wrecked every opponent he's been up against. So it's
Has he done MMA? I thought it was boxing.
or
he
whatever, boxing or whatever the fuck. I don't care. I don't
So
know
he's like
sports, but-
this untouchable
all I need to
martial
say
artist.
is like, you know, it's like that kid in class, and I know this Mackenzie Campbell, if you're watching this, the
Oh,
kid
no.
in class who's like kind of a, you know, he's a jerk, but he's also really smart.
He's watching.
You're
Like, I thought we were friends.
No, listen, his dad was a judge in our town, and he was a super
Untouchable.
privileged dude. Not only untouchable, but also really smart. You know, he's the kind of guy who would like talk back to the teacher and then be right. And it drives you nuts, and it drove the teacher nuts.
Knew a guy like that too.
Well, this is what I mean, right? Where they're like, and this is the thing, Logan Paul is like this total fucking asshole, but he's also really, really strong and could
He's
kick
dumb,
everyone's ass
though,
during
to
a
be
purge.
clear.
He's also really dumb, but he's
I
also
mean,
a
he's-
multi-billion or millionaire or
He's
whatever the
super
hell.
rich, and his brother Jake is super rich too.
This is what I mean, right? It's like
His
this
brother's actually
terrible.
more aggressively awful. Like
It's weird. It's almost like people who have a ton of money maybe don't deserve it.
Yeah, except people flock to this guy like flies on shit. Like they love him. You know what I mean?
There's the people who love him, and then the people who want to. They hate watch his stuff because like, I hate that guy. I hope something bad happens to him, and they're just like consuming his content.
And he's
giving him
winning
money.
all of it. He's just like, cool. You want to watch me get? I mean, that's literally what that boxing fight was. People watched
The
because they
Mayweather
wanted to
one?
see him win, and people watched because they wanted to see him lose. And he won both. I did not watch.
he's won-
I googled afterwards, and
Yeah, same. His
would
brother
never pay
Jake
attention.
has won all his fights too, but he's only fought like MMA fighters. He hasn't fought boxers. And it's like, now you have to fight a boxer. You have to fight a professional boxer. Go do it now, please.
Doesn't
Wow, the
matter,
line
they'll
of
win.
quality has been drawn. Take that, MMA fighters.
All I want to know is where is Cradley
Cradley
Throw?
Cradley!
He's boxing. Leave him alone.
Cradley, where are you?
Cradley.
Speaking of last week,
Remember?
I
I
forgot
made a
about
comment in the
moss.
Discord of the guy eating the door handle is Sal eating moss.
yeah, that's so
Oh, yeah,
true.
he did eat it. I forgot about that. That's the first thing he did.
Ooh, and Chris Evans ripping log in half. Yeah, all right. Should we start this?
Yeah, let's do it.
do
let's,
it.
let's play some D&D.
Oh, wait.
What? Oh,
Sean's birthday is tomorrow or today?
Tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Happy birthday, Sean.
Happy birthday, Sean.
Tweedly dee.
If we yell loud enough.
Then Jay's ears will hurt.
Ow!
I'll take the energy and I'll bring it.
Good.
Yeah, but he said that you gave him a whole birthday week.
That's so generous. I bought him a 6-pack last Wednesday.
One beer for every day.
One a day.
Hey.
It was really,
birthday
really
week.
generous. I'm also
sweet.
like leaving on an early flight the day after, so I'm kind of the worst, but we'll make it
That's
work.
not the worst. It's the day after. The whole day is,
Yeah.
is. Do you have plans?
Can chill out.
We're working and he's playing hockey.
But he
Nice.
loves hockey.
He does,
He does
love
love
hockey.
Upon the ice or the field?
Ice.
Oh wow, I forget.
Canadians
As the
don't do
Canadians
field
do.
hockey.
Yeah,
It's
we're,
so
we're
hot
all
here,
about the
ice doesn't
bud.
exist.
Yeah, but Canadians do. And
We
we would
love it.
find ice.
I love that there's just like a outdoor hockey rink south of Toronto Western Hospital, you know, the one that's on like Bathurst. And that's
Yes.
the first sign of winter. You just
Yeah.
go by there and you see a bunch of people knocking each other's teeth out.
Not skating,
Canadian
just walking
way.
over
right.
beside the ice.
Oh, I don't go on there.
Oh no.
Oh, no.
I'm also very poor. I'm a poor skater.
Me too.
And I'm a bad Canadian. I don't partake in sports or.
Oh, no, no. None
ice.
for me.
None for me, thank you.
Sorry,
I'll
Cradley
just-
Throw does not partake in sporting
Road
events.
does not enjoy.
Leave some for the rest of the sports
Enjoy your
boys.
little ice there. I will eat your. And I don't like poutine either. Yeah.
That's because you have a brain problem.
Brain problem.
The
Probably
problem is
it.
you're not eating it at 2 a.m. in Gatineau.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
the
I
vibe.
recently did that, and it was literally the best thing I've ever had.
Thank you.
Drunk
Yeah.
midnight poutine is the
I
best.
just, no matter what, I'm not crazy about. I don't like soggy gravy potato.
Well, you're
Harlan,
wrong.
what do
Why?
you like?
Gotta eat it fast then.
What do I like?
What about the squeaky? Don't you like the squeaky part?
No, I'm not crazy.
It's funny because when we were in the grocery store on
I'm not
Friday
against it, but, like-
and we were talking about cheese and we were asking each other what
yeah.
our favorite kinds of cheese were, I was going to
nice.
say, that was nice.
like curds.
I was going to say squeaky cheese,
Oh,
but no one
yeah.
asked me. They were just asking each other. so I just thought it.
I saved it for now.
I'm
Glad
not
it came
knocking poutine or however you say it. I totally
Poutine.
think it's a great Canadian food. I think anybody who enjoys it is right. I just don't enjoy it. You know what I mean?
I don't know about that.
I asked if you have a compensating preamble.
What? My overcompensating preamble?
Oh my god! It's like, it's okay, guys. You're allowed to be wrong. It's fine.
No, I'm saying that they're right. Because here's the thing. There are certain things that I won't like that I think you're wrong for liking. It's pretty few and far between. But if I'm like, oh no, that's terrible, and you're like, but it was my favorite, I'd be like, oh, you're wrong. But then there are a vast majority of things that I don't like that I totally get why people like. For example, pasta. I'm not a big fan of pasta, But I totally think I'm in the wrong because it's it's cheap, it's delicious. If it's made fresh, it tastes otherworldly. You can do everything to it. Like, I appreciate it. I just don't enjoy it. And I need to clarify, because I think poutine is a wonderful option. I think it's very Canadian. I really appreciate it. I would never knock it. I just don't enjoy it. That's why I'm clarifying.
Just for your little thing about not liking pasta, I know you said this before, but the other day I cooked spaghetti. I was boiling the noodles, and I overdid it by like 10 solid minutes.
Oh, no.
And they were like cribbled thick, and they were disgusting and gummy, and they're the worst things I've ever did. And like, I understand Harlan now. Like, I felt that much spiritually closer to what you have to go through. Like, all right, I get it. Fair enough.
Stringy bread goop.
But I
is
cook
not nice.
pasta amazingly well when I do, just FYI.
He does.
Because I'm a good cook.
You know what?
I'm a great cook. I made something
Put the
for dinner
pasta
tonight.
water in the sauce.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
yeah.
I know you undercooked the pasta. You finished cooking it in the sauce. And also I make soups that are wonderful. You ate that whole jug of soup, Joe.
The whole bucket
And it was
of
just
it.
pork bones. It was like leftover pork soup.
Took out your spade, ate a whole bucket of soup.
You liked it though.
Of course I did. Are you kidding? I ate it like 5 days in a row. I love soup and pasta.
Yeah.
I love leftovers.
And my cooking.
I love all that
Let's
crap.
be specific. I made ribs the other night that were so good.
Don't finish that sentence.
You really enjoyed them.
So good.
Anyway.
You ate them.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway,
Shall
let's put the credits on.
shall we? Oh no.
God damn it. The rumble grows farther and farther away. The great purple worm, which dropped your friend Cassidy, is all but a distant memory after only a few moments. And as the ground quiets and the mud stops dancing along the dry surface of the chasm surrounding you, the four of you catch your breath. That's the credits again. Oops.
That's not.
Said a voice ominously.
That's the credits again. Oops. Yeah, you are now sitting at the side of the chasm. The four of you looking down at Cassidy's lifeless body. I think
Cassidy was stabilized
Stable?
at least.
Yeah, yeah. Garrus, you... Oh no, you brought them back. That's right.
Yeah.
You brought Cassidy back and you said, what?
Oh, yes, I said, don't worry, you're not the only one who's killed my brother.
That's right. And I think there's a long moment there, and no one really speaks. And the next time we see the party, we're only a few 100 feet away, and it's night, and a campfire crackles between the four. And I feel like I don't think anyone said anything for the whole long while. Judic is perched up on a rock overlooking sort of the east, the chasm plains that sort of are divided by these great falls. She's just sort of scouting ahead, and every once in a while, as you move around, she'll shush you to make sure that the ground beneath your feet stays still. Who between the four of you cuts the silence after, let's say, 3 hours? You're all sort of staring blankly into the fire.
I suppose Garrus would get up and just be like, I've noticed, all been a bit silent. Cassidy, you didn't know me in my previous life, but I was a little violence averse, except on certain times. Look, the reason I was the way I was then, trying to become a new person, a healer, was because of what I did. I killed my brother. I did that. It was in the heat of battle. It wasn't meant to happen that way. We weren't meant to be on opposite sides, but we were. And we were both very good at what we did. And that day I happened to get the better of him. Strange. He was the better warrior, but I don't know. Something was different that day. But I did it. I killed him. And now that I know this place exists, I'm trying to find him again. If he's still here. So, Cassidy, don't feel so bad about it. I don't know the circumstances in which he lost his life, but they were not the same as when I did it. It was an act of evil, jealousy. Finally, I'd beaten my brother at something. Only then, he wasn't there for me to apologize to. Wasn't there for me to talk about the great fight we'd had. He wasn't there anymore. So, but we can talk about it. No need to be. So, and I'm quite different now than I used to be then. I don't really care about healing anymore, and in fact, I've been quite consumed with death. I'm going to stop talking now. I'm glad you're feeling better, Cassidy. Sorry that my loud teleportation woke up that big giant worm. And thank you for taking his attention off me. I was about to be very, very dead. So, and he'll take out the little broken sword blade he had, which somehow came back with him through the afterlife, and we'll just look at it and be like, this was his. I took it as a reminder to maybe don't be such a bastard all the time. I'd be over there.
What, Garrus? What's
inspiration? Great little speech there, Garrus.
What's your plan? If you meet up with him, if you find him here, what do you hope to say? What?
I don't know. I want to ask him if he'll entertain me asking questions. He may want to kill me outright. I don't know. If he does, I may let him. I imagine I'll just come back, but he was always the better warrior. It's been boggling my mind ever since we came back here. I shouldn't have been able to beat him. I shouldn't have. And then I got to thinking. Over the years, we had changed sides, and I had heard many rumors of his death. At one point, it was an emblem of his came back to our family and said, "Your brother has been killed in battle." But then, years later, I see him on the battlefield again. I don't understand. It feels like he let me win. So now that I think about it, it feels like he let me win, and I don't know why. So I'm going to ask him, how did I win? We were both at our best. And I was good. He was always better. So I'm going to ask him that. I think I should know. And then if he wants to kill me, he can do so.
This brings up an interesting question. If you find your brother and he does want to fight you, and he bests you, as you think he might, you'll come back.
I will.
And you won't have any memory of what happened while you were here, but you'll remember us, right? At least for the first few times, anyway. Cassidy, you don't remember anything from before, but we probably would, right? At first?
I don't know how to answer that. I've done it so many times that I think my brain is just rat scrambled, but I'm not
We
sure.
need to come up with a plan. Some way that we'll be able to find each other if that happens.
Cassidy's yearbook seems to have been a solid idea.
Yeah.
The writing of notes. This has always been our party, Cassidy. I don't know if you want to start a new something that we four can always find ourselves. Or we
Because-
just write in your yearbook again. Your book. Yearbook.
I mean, Cassidy, I know that we only met you a little while ago, but that was scary, what happened back there.
Yeah. Yeah, it was. I think I'm still trying to process it because for a moment I was pretty sure that it was going to be the start of another loop for me. And that's why I blurted that out. And Garrus, I'm sorry. I just should have told you sooner instead of just saying it there in the mouth of a worm.
Wouldn't
Bad
worry about it.
timing.
I didn't tell anyone for the longest time. So, I understand.
Thank you. Well, we'll find your brother and we'll do what we have to do to get that business cleared up. And Brea will... I don't really know what your business is here other than seeing it through.
I don't know. When we come to the end of this, and I know we will, I don't know if I'll be able to go back through with you all. Through the gate, I mean. If what's lying in wait for me on the other side, back in the living world, is just more of what I was trying to escape from when I was alive, maybe it's better to stay here. I still want to know. I haven't figured it out yet. I think I just have a lot of thinking to do.
Knowing this place exists brings a whole new thought to what death is. I mean, I don't know, Cassidy, do you fear for your life anymore? Or do you just fear the loop? I experienced real fear of death back there, but I can't imagine what you must be feeling.
My perception of fear changed after I watched Sal eat a lot of poison
That was...
in sequence.
Oh, which one?
Which
Both.
time?
Oh,
Both
Sal eats
times,
a lot of stuff.
right after the other.
I imagine
And-
Sal is just like going through
Just licking
His-
poison off of his fingers.
his like giant bag of moss, like dead moss, live
dead.
moss, putting this away in like a
Got like 7 jars.
I have a spell specifically designed to remove water from areas. I'm drying my moss.
Oh, now you're leaning into the
Smart.
full dried moss.
I have to. I have no choice.
It's your only option. Totally.
This is gonna come in like... It's gonna kill an
Oh,
enemy
yeah.
boss at some point.
Oh, for
Yeah,
sure.
totally.
That
This is
would be
gonna
for
be
now.
the thing.
Judic. Is Judic around?
Yeah, she's like up on a rock off to your right.
Judic.
Cool.
What was Cassidy like before?
She closes her eyes and shakes her head. Looks down at Davmop, who looks up at her. And for a second, you swear the dog sort of shakes its head. No. And Judic looks back towards you. That's not what you paid me for. And she looks back out towards the east.
So stoic.
So fucking cool right now. I just have to say that. That's
She's like
solid
definitely
answer.
the
I
Han
want the
Solo of
information,
our
but I respect that.
story.
I want the information, but I respect.
She's definitely Han Solo and Davmop
Oh,
is
yeah.
Chewie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Imagine he's a lot older than she is. Just a wise staff mop.
And we've got a fire going, right?
Yeah.
How far are we from this new frontier?
Yeah, so I think
abyss.
before you made sort of camp, Judic told you that it was another 2-day to the outpost. And yeah, do you all head to bed then?
It's a lot to think about, but it's also too much to really parse together, right? None of us has answers. The only person who could answer us doesn't remember, and the other one doesn't want to.
But why? But why?
We could just pay her to tell us. That's the issue.
I don't know, Sal. When you have someone who is so clearly uninterested in sharing, their life experience. I don't know if even we paid for a word that it would be meaningful. Let's just get some rest.
And with that,
I want to pretend to sleep and stay up as late as I can until I know that Judic is asleep.
Like a 6-year-old at a birthday party.
Yeah. Because I want pop and chips from the fridge. I don't want anybody to know.
Nice. Yeah. Okay. Go for it.
Are we
Okay.
Are we doing watches or no?
Yeah, I think
Ooh.
Judic sort of offered to watch through the night,
Cool.
knowing that she's getting paid.
Long rest.
So
yeah.
she must sleep at some point.
Yeah.
Sleep at some point.
Sure. Yeah,
All
she'd
right.
sleep at some point if you want.
I do. Okay. And I want to be awake for it. I'm going to go and take back my fox mask from Sal.
Ooh.
Oh yeah. I thought I gave that back to you like forever.
I
Yeah,
couldn't
absolutely.
remember. Yeah. It's in
You
one
do
of our
have it back.
bags.
Yeah, you take the fox mask back at one point.
I'm going to put it on and I'm going to talk to Dav Mob.
Oh, hopefully you get more than
interesting.
seed.
Sure.
Seed.
You walk over to Davmop, who's lying next to Judic, sort of curled down. He's a shaggy little mutt with sort of a harness, and on his back you see a gleam of silver metal, sort of right behind his collarbone. And as you look over, he sort of just picks his head up off his paws, tilts his head slightly at you, and looks at you.
Hey. Shh. Oh God, how do you talk? Do I just talk to you like a person? Hello. How's your day?
What's the rules of the mask again? I forgot.
I think I could just. Oh wait,
Does it
is it
speak
animal
with
friendship or is it speak with animals?
I think it just
Can't
gives you
remember.
animal handling, doesn't it? I don't remember now.
Okay, I give Dav
What was it called?
Mask of.
Fox mask of animal. Good.
Box of animal something.
Oh, I didn't write it down in my D&D Beyond.
Where did we give it? Mask of the Beast, I think was it, right?
Mask of the Beast.
Yeah, so
No, Frost Mask of Animals is actually one,
it is?
and it can't be removed while attuned to it. So, ugh.
No, I think it might be the Mask of the Beast.
Cast Animal Friendship without using a spell slot.
Okay,
On
animal
boxes
friendship.
only.
Yeah,
That's all I
Mask of
need.
the Beast was shaped like License of Beast Visions. Yeah, I think it's probably this.
Okay.
So it gives
I-
animal friendship.
I asked.
I don't know if
Dav
that's
Mob-
what
Yeah,
that is, but
Colin said we used it to talk to the bird.
Yeah, but
It's
It was
been
a floppy bird.
established.
That's okay.
mean,
I'm fine with it going back to.
I don't really care. I just wanted to make sure that we're being consistent. So if
Fair
it's
enough.
talk
The
to animal,
bird.
so you know what? Let's just say it now. It is a homemade mask of talk to animals.
It's
And
got
say,
like dry macaroni
we'll
glued
say
onto
twice
the.
a day resets at dawn. It allows you to talk to an animal for an hour or something.
Thank you. This is
Cool.
gracious of you.
No, it's a cool thing. I'm
Okay.
definitely don't want to step on what you're doing because this is a cool idea.
It's made like a paper plate with a popsicle stick on one side.
Some leaves glued on. Okay. I asked Davmop how his day is 4 times before it finally works.
Yeah, and Davmop looks at you with an odd expression and slowly looks over his shoulder to Judic and then back at you and puts his head back down. If you want, you can roll insight.
Yeah. 12.
Yeah, I'll let you roll with advantage because you have the ability to sort of understand it in a way that you haven't before. And it's not just you can hear its language, you kind of understand this animal.
18.
Okay. Davmop looks at you with a surprising amount of intellect. And you sort of realize retroactively that this dog has always sort of held a certain look. It doesn't ignore you in a way that somebody who thinks they're above you would ignore you with disinterest. It ignores you in a way that almost seems the slightest bit deceptive. You sort of are taken aback at the way that it almost chooses to pretend to not really understand you or hear you. And like as you back away, you know, its eyes that are on its paws like look up towards you and back down.
Okay. All right, that's good enough for me.
Yeah, if this was a movie, like the soundtrack underneath would be like a little bit like creepy. Like something's wrong soundtrack, you know?
I was taking it as like melancholy. Maybe he recognized me.
No, something feels weird.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Then I'll walk back nervously.
Yeah.
I won't take my eyes
off.
off
It wouldn't be like a horror, but it would be like, you know, it's tough, right?
Yeah.
But the thing is, if you saw it, it would feel clear. See, like how do you orchestrate that without giving too much away, right? Like
Yeah.
it's akin to someone like,
Is it malice?
not malice. It's sort of like coyness. It's like sort of a faux disinterest.
Like a Mean Girls dog?
Sure, maybe that's the easiest way to do it.
Is it done with like a wink or like an evil wink? Like what
Like
you-
it's
what you
hiding
think.
something, obviously, from me.
Kind of.
That's what I'm
True.
getting.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Kind of. It's
Okay,
difficult because the visual in itself is difficult. Like you don't really understand. Like all of this
Yeah.
could apply and none of it could apply. You know, it kind of feels like this level of engagement, an intelligent disassociation with a deceptive flair.
Okay. All right. I'll keep that in the back of my mind and I'll go back and I'll actually get a night's rest because I am messed up.
Cool. And you all sleep. The next morning, you wake up and see for the first time the splendor of the chasms that lay before you.
Ooh.
Very nice.
There's some buildings back there.
Not in real life, but
Okay.
Oh,
desolate
Everything
stone, howling winds, and yawning chasms greet you upon waking up. The winds here can be loud enough that you have to shout to hear each word each other speaks. They carry grit and dust that gets into every crevice. In the distant, every crevice. Bums and other things.
Bums
Is it
and all.
coarse?
Bums
How coarse
and
is it?
vaginas and armpits and neck pits.
And mouths?
What? Sure, whatever. If you want to go for obvious. You do see strange
Orifices.
stone arches that soar above the vast cracks in the stony earth, and signs of caves in the sides of cliffs in the distance are also visible. Judic is already
sand
up.
in that crack too?
She's rolled.
Children.
Yeah, this sand's all in the cracks.
Sorry.
Judic's already up. She's rolled her bedroll, and Davmop is staring intently at Cassidy.
Do we notice that that's happening?
Why?
And
Why would you notice that? It's a dog.
I pay close
attention.
attention to
Nope,
dogs at
you
all
wouldn't give a
times.
shit. Dog has
Okay.
done this every single day.
Oh, does it? Okay.
oh.
It's a dog. You wouldn't know when we give you shit. 3 days in, you're not something you'd be like, why? What was that dog looking at?
If anything,
When
you'd
you're
be
like, oh, Cassie's got something on her face. Or
yeah,
something.
Cassidy
okay.
put a piece of liver in her pocket and forgot about it.
You know what the look is? You know what the look is? Here's the best way to articulate it. In like Toy Story, when one of the toys sort of suspects that like a human can understand it or that it could be real, there's like this look of recognition. I'm thinking of Toy Story 3. There's a big fuzzy bear that like is kind of really amicable, like welcome to the party, and it kind of talks like that or whatever. And then there's like this dark turn or whatever. But it's behind a veneer of an artificial creature, which is different than, you know, being at store and someone being like, oh, you think that I want to buy these groceries. It's like behind this sort of like stuffed animal approach, which is sort of what the dog has that brings that out to in the conversation.
So many layers.
Yeah, well, it's like a confusing thing to try to parse out. But no one else recognizes it, and Cassidy dismisses it, so.
There you go.
Judith nods to everyone. She has a large pole in her hand, and 4 others, sort of like these, like 3-meter wall poles, and she throws them to each of you.
Do I have to roll dexterity to catch it?
Everyone roll dexterity to catch it.
Oh.
I've decided.
Oh.
Come on, surely I'd catch it. I might catch it.
16.
Yeah, you catch it.
Yes.
Tung. Yeah, you catch it. Tung.
18.
Yeah, you catch it. Tung.
I feel like you catch it without looking.
Yeah, it hits you in the face. Tung. And you just fall.
Of course it does. I just woke up.
yeah, you like turn.
I haven't had my mossy.
So many limbs and still.
So little
Don't know
hand.
which one to catch it with.
Yeah. And it falls to the ground. And Judik says, "We might need these today. Some of the chasms aren't as wide as the one that you fell down. And remember, try to land softly," she says. And,
Are there more worms?
all over the place.
Good.
That's not great, is it?
Great.
Look, as long as you don't fall down onto the very bottom of a chasm, she like leans over the edge and you can see it's like very far down. As long as you don't cast Thunderstep, she looks towards you, Gary.
Very sorry about that.
That's okay. Then we should be fine. They tend to stick to the under parts of the chasms.
Okay.
And with that, she sort of runs towards a nearby chasm and uses the pole to push off. And as she does, she climbs the pole, propelling her a little more forward, and jumps off while holding on to it to get a good 15-foot gap. And she lands with maybe 10 extra feet on the other side and turns around and smiles.
I mean, she is a rabbit person.
I'm going to say that this is some bullshit. To give me a pull and then say, yeah, just make the jump. Okay. All right. Thanks. Thanks, Judik.
I try to do it too.
Give me a dexterity roll.
I will. A save or just a check or what do you want?
Just straight dexterity.
All that.
What?
Give me an athletics roll then.
Okay, great.
Or acrobatics.
Cool.
Oh, thank fuck.
Whichever you prefer.
14.
Yeah, you see Brea fearlessly run to do the same thing. Brea, you push off, you feel your muscles burn, and as you're sort of at the apex of it, you quickly, hand over hand, reach the top of the pole and gain another 10 feet and land squarely on the other side. Judik nods at you, and the two of you look towards the next person.
I tried 11.
Yeah. Gary, you run forward, you push off, your hand goes up, and it slips, and your hand kind of goes down, and you boom, 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 tumble to the other side. Barely.
Oh, okay, cool.
Judik and Brea grab you and pull you up.
I do that, like, grab his forearm thing.
That adventure.
The hero
handshake.
thing, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. That was on purpose. No, it wasn't. I don't know.
You'll do better next time.
Yes.
Or you'll die.
Oh,
That
that
we
you
don't.
know.
Okay, we don't need that right now.
Just being honest.
Yeah, it's not helpful.
I'll put on some gloves next time. Steady up the grip.
Yeah. And they look towards the last two, Sal and Cassidy.
You can do this, guys. Come on.
You got this.
Sal,
I showed you what
wanna go?
not to do.
Sal, you're muted.
Sal is so scared they're not even
Oh,
talking.
no.
You're muted.
And Sal went really far
How
away to
dare
shout
you?
about
I
a
had a
piss
great
door.
delivery for that. Sal wild shapes into a giant toad.
Nice.
Oh,
Yeah, your little pole. So the first 2/3 of him bouncing very, very well, kicking up my little back wolf legs. I'm going to use my wonderful standing jump, which gets me 20 feet across and 10 feet up.
Nice. Yeah, so you ribbit, you jump all the way across, and you land on the other side, leaving your pole behind.
You won't need that.
And Judik's like, you okay, there's a lot of jumps, but yeah, we'll figure that out.
Damn it.
Cassidy, she shouts across.
Bring the pole.
Bring my pole.
I start running, and then Sal says that, and I do backwards run, and I grab it.
But
and
Sal, you can't speak though when you're in animal form, right?
Okay, I'm going to have the tongue in the direction, like Yogi's tongue, to point.
I think Judic is just like, grab her pole, his pole.
Thank you.
Okay, I grab both poles and I vault over with a 15.
Nice. Yeah, you clear it. This is not your first rodeo.
No.
And all 4 of you land on the other side of the chasm.
God, we're such heroes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Judic's like, awesome.
Yeah.
15 more of those to go. And she starts heading off towards the wall of the chasm.
How long will it take to get to across these 15 jumps?
2 days, she says, as she mentioned last night. And eventually, as you all start falling in line and understanding exactly what you're up against, you develop a bit of a rhythm. It becomes almost fun at certain points, challenging each other to see how far you can make it past, sometimes slipping, almost falling a few times, but for the most part, making your way across. And there's a point beyond halfway where it actually becomes somewhat enjoyable. Sometimes the wind blows you halfway across. Sometimes it blows you back and you teeter on the edge for a moment, but there's an energy, a excitement in the wind as you move through this. The geography and landscape is unfriendly, inhospitable in areas. It's dry and rocky. It's constantly howling, and the wind carries dusts, but every once in a while, Judic will find a small cavern to pull off to the side and take a break, have some lunch.
We're spending days with this person now. Is there any sense that we get of her facade thawing, or is she just business? You know what I mean? Does she share anecdotes about herself or jokes? Or is she just basically like, this is the way, here's a cavern, here's a pole that you need, oh, don't step there. You know what I mean?
She's very business. She's keeping it very clean, cool, and sharing nothing about herself or her struggles. Because we're not at that point in the character growth yet. And as you camp on the second night, you find yourselves in sort of a half tunnel, and Judic sort of stands up, leaning on the cave wall, looking forward, and says, I think we're almost near the tunnel to the Undercity. We should get there in a few hours after morning, but it's on the ground, at the base of the chasm. And it should be day, in case we awake any worms.
We'll be careful.
Yes.
Yeah, I know. I do want to scout it out, though. So, I'll be back in a few hours, and keep an eye out. And she hops down from this sort of, it's like perfectly drilled almost a few feet in to this wall of this whipping winds under this large overhang. I kind of imagine, one of these large crevices at the base of it having a hole drilled into it that you're all sort of hiding out to. And after a few minutes, she disappears. And the 4 of you are left alone.
Brea looks around at her party, and she says quietly, part of me wants to shadow her. I know she's been good this far and taking us a true path. But part of me doesn't trust her.
There's something strange about the dog, and I don't know what it is. I could not decipher a look that I got the other night when I was trying to use the mask, which I thought would let me talk to the animals, and I think it does, but I think I'm just not very good at it.
The dog? No. Judic.
No, I know, but they seem to be in league, right? Like there's something going on with that dog. It's given us like so many no-win looks every time we've done something. I don't know. You guys haven't noticed the dog?
How many times have you died?
I think you should answer that, Cassidy.
I don't know, but you're telling me nobody's noticed the weird looks from the dog.
And like, have we
Wow.
at all, or we're just like, it's a
Wow.
dog, calling a dog.
No, you haven't. I mean, put it this way, Cassidy, did you notice before you tried to talk to it?
I think we were told about like a knowing look that the dog gave us.
Only one person caught that, and I think it was you, Cassidy.
Okay. I swear to God.
We'll
He's
keep an
really
eye out
cute.
for it.
I love his backpack. I
Yeah.
don't think he's the mastermind. Honestly, it's probably nothing. Listen, when we were back in the real world, there was a situation where I was less cautious than I should have been, and that ended up with us being ambushed by creatures that just about killed all four of us.
I guess I remember that.
If
Thank you,
you are
Sal.
not confident in Judic's motives, I don't want to get the shit kicked out of me again like last time. And you think you can keep up with them?
No, I don't. I don't know the terrain. It seems strange. I guess I just want to know if anyone else is feeling the same way or if I'm just being hyper paranoid.
Garrus wasn't. He will say, well, up until you mentioned the ambush, which was partially my fault, I was not really on the same wavelength, but I see what you're saying now, and we may as well be as safe as possible.
I mean, she hasn't done anything to do us dirty yet.
Anything. She helped us more than anyone has. We have a key because
But
of
we're
her.
paying her to do so. What if someone says, I'll pay you more to not help them?
That's what I mean. Maybe she's meeting with somebody. Maybe she's... I don't know. I'm not used to this subterfuge type stuff, or rather, I've been out of the game for a long time, but I would just hate to feel blindsided.
Whatever you do,
Let's just
don't-
keep our eyes open.
don't get caught until after we're out of the chasm.
No, I'm not going to follow her. I want to. And I wanted to be transparent about that, I guess.
Don't you have a tooth you could place upon her? Or
In
hair?
the dog's
Ear?
tiny backpack.
You have so many options.
Yeah, that's a good point. I didn't think
Could
about that.
Double surveil. Daphmop is with her all the time.
See, it stays with me forever. Remember that.
That's a good point. That's a good point, Sal.
Well, now we know for next time. I mean, she's going to be scouting again. This is a
Yeah.
good idea.
Did she leave her stuff?
No.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll consider that as a potential option if we need to keep an eye on her. I mean, it's not limitless power, but I can spy on her for a short amount of time. Yeah.
Perfect.
If need be.
Sounds good.
The four of you tend the fire for a little while, pondering what kind of relationship you forged with Judic. Cassidy, you search your mind and your memory for what may have come from this before. But try as you might, nothing sticks or resounds. And as you're each almost ready for bed, you notice something. At first, it looks like a stack of stone. But just beyond the mouth of the cave, behind a wall of whistling wind and dust that blows, a figure stands. It grows larger and larger. And as you perhaps reach for the hilt of a sword, it appears, standing in the mouth of the cave, front lit by the embers of the fire. A man. His jaw is black. Black as night. His teeth as well. And yet, as if stitched to the upper half of his head, it's a soft, almost translucent, clean, thin flesh. His eyes are almost pure white, and he has no hair under the hood he sports and the cloak which blows softly in the wind behind him. He turns his head towards each of you. And you see nothing below the neck as his hood is sort of tightly wrapped around his body. And in a soft, almost innocent voice, he says, "Can I sit by your fire?"
I would not be brave enough to refuse.
Do you say that?
I'd welcome you, of course.
Are you
Sir.
the gray one? The
He sort
pale?
of turns his head to
The
his
pale one.
side,
The pale
similarly
one.
looking towards you, Brea. He says, "No, I am not."
All the more concerned?
But he takes your yes, Sal, and he steps towards the fire, sort of brustles out his cloak, and sits cross-legged. And as his cloak sort of furrows out, you see for a moment, just briefly, the body which hides beneath. You see glimpses of fur, a dark, greasy coat, and the feet which look almost animalistic cross as he sits. His hands are still under the cloak themselves.
Where do you come from, traveler?
He stares at the fire, and through the top half of his head, again his skin thin and white, almost like paper, like wrapping paper, like tissue paper. He stares at it. The flames almost seem dangerous to it. "I come from the chasms," he says, towards the fire.
And why do you travel?
For the same reason we all do, I suppose. Why do you travel?
We are champions, seeking our way out.
You see him smile slightly as the stitches that attach the bottom half of his face to the top half split slightly with the smile. No pain on his face, just the separated from the jaw. And he sort of pushes his jaw back up. And you see the stitches tighten once again. Champions, hiding in a cave.
Preparing. I wouldn't say hiding.
Preparing for what?
For the
Our next
descent.
task.
The descent is your next task, then.
Unless you pose one first.
He looks away from the fire towards you. What do you mean by that?
Just that we are ready.
Ready for what?
For whatever task is ahead of us.
He doesn't break eye contact with you, although his white eyes have no pupils. Have you told them yet? His head turns towards you, Cassidy.
I've told them everything that I remember that I think is important. What else is there?
I suppose if you don't remember anything else, there must not be anything else important. He says, almost solemnly.
No, you obviously know that there's something. Please just tell me what it is.
You see movement under his cloak. And it rises slightly as his hand slides out from underneath it. He's got a big boner. He's just got a big dick. And you see his hand against the firelight. It looks as if it's stitched together from 3 different creatures. The thumb and pointer finger look almost like they're a part of a giant bird or an eagle. It's got sort of dry pink flesh and a long talon at the end of it. The two fingers in the middle are long, human-like, and pale white, much like his face. And the pinky is only a bony hook. It's disjointed, disproportionate, and he holds it against the firelight. And he almost says, sadly, to you, Sal, he says, I don't think I remember which part was me. Do you?
Is he still saying that to Sal?
Yeah.
Yes, very much so. It's quite obvious. I apologize for your affliction. You and our friend Cassidy seem to have a lot in common, much more than I'm truly comfortable with. But I do know where I am, who I am, and where each part of me stops.
Do you?
I'm sorry. I'm tired of this. You must be the fourth or fifth person who's seen Cassidy and has mentioned in cryptic tones that you know of her, and you're not sharing any information. She deserves more than that.
Why do you think I'm speaking only to Cassidy?
And to me, you're the second creepy villager here who's told me something about my situation. It's true, it is.
What I mean to say is, if you have something for us, then out with it.
I only asked to sit by a fire.
But you clearly know something. You looked to Cassidy, you said. Did you tell them? What does that mean?
Tell us what.
Do you remember? Are you like me? Is it lost? Or do you actually know something?
I know that we have met before. All of us. And he looks towards you, Sal.
No, that's bullshit. He doesn't know anything.
Do I think at that moment that he's trying to actually speak to me? Does he recognize me, or is he remembering somebody else? Like, oh, I have all these half-formed memories.
I don't know. What do you think?
I want to roll insight.
Go for it.
Can I roll
You-
it too?
Yeah.
There.
No, I called
Roll
dibs.
party.
I said it first.
I don't roll inside.
18.
Yeah, he seems genuine.
That doesn't make any sense. I don't remember you. I'm not afflicted, sorry, Cassidy, with memory, recollection problems.
The three of us are pretty much on the same page. Don't think that's likely.
What's not likely?
How would we have met you? Did we meet you above? Or in here?
You're so convinced that you would remember, having been here and died already. Why?
We remember each other. How we died. How we got here.
So does
Pretty
everyone.
recently.
I would like to say that I did get a 21 for insight.
Yeah, he seems genuine.
My question was specific to saying, is he talking to us specifically, or does it seem like he's kind of half remembering somebody else and just kind of talking?
He
at
seems
us?
very specifically talking to you, Sal, and Cassidy.
Oh.
So how do you remember and we don't?
That's a good question.
You asking him?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Well, then who's to say that your memory is correct?
Perhaps. And he sort of, again, turns towards Cassidy. I understand why you didn't tell them. They're not ready to know. And he stands up.
No, don't. No. You cannot just say a cool line like that and then just fucking leave.
That's unacceptable. That's a cliffhanger I'm not willing
It is.
to hang off.
It's unacceptable.
Someone sit on him. Make him talk.
Yeah, and he stops and he looks at you.
What is it that I'm supposed to tell them? Because I've told them everything that I think I'm supposed to tell them. And I need to know, because if I'm a danger to these people, then I want them to know.
We are all alike. This affliction. And he again gestures to his hand as he draws it back into his cloak. Is not one that you and I share alone, Cassidy. And again, he looks to Sal.
What the hell? Okay, I'm having thought. It's forming in my brain.
It's way,
Eat some moss.
Don't.
Inspiration. That's a good joke. That's a good joke. Where's my round of applause there?
I know that Cassidy has said that she has been with people before who have died. I know that people may have been reset. We don't know exactly what we remember if we were to die. We do.
And also, Cassie doesn't remember
Cassie doesn't remember.
if she died.
But did she bring that guest book with her? Because if she did, I would like to roll investigation.
Sure.
All right. I want to start going through. I don't know if I had just get up and I just take it from her,
Sure.
but I'm going to go through this book page by page.
What do you think this guy signed his name as?
I think we may have signed
Spooky
it.
Jeremy.
I'm looking for our name.
You're looking for your own signature.
Yes.
Oh.
Did you sign the book already?
I think
Yes.
we did already. Yes. So I know what we did sign.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there should
Is it
only be
only-
one.
There should only be one, and I know exactly where it
Technically.
is.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, thank you. I appreciate it.
Rocky's
Good idea.
into this new decision.
On board. All right.
Yeah.
So Jesus, buddy. So it's a 15 on 1, but maybe I could use inspiration to roll again.
No, it's fine.
Could we
It's
help
fine.
you
Yes.
to give you
Yeah.
advantage?
Yeah.
You start flipping through, and you're flipping through.
Sal's taking your book
Over her shoulder.
Yeah, and
I'll
you're
hold
looking
the book
through.
in my hands and you can turn the pages.
Yeah. And as you're flipping through and flipping through and flipping through, you only see one signature of Sal.
And as I was going through, I didn't see any. Everyone had only signed their names, correct? Or were there like little passages too, like little comments that were done?
Their previous people had given messages.
Okay.
Yeah.
Short
Sal
messages.
recognized the
greetings.
handwriting, even if
Handwriting?
the signatures were different.
Yeah. If the message was there, if there's any unnamed passages, I'm really pouring through this thing. We've gone all night.
Yeah.
Until Judy comes back.
And I feel like, I mean, the dude leaves probably with that because you're kind of all in your own shit right now. He just disappears into
fire
the
in my
howling
mind.
wind. And as you're pouring through the yearbook, you sort of with a breath come across your own name and you breathe. And then you flip back a few pages and you come across something that drains the color from your face. It's not a signature, but it's in your handwriting.
What? And what is it?
What does it say?
Speak.
It says,
Speak, demon.
I can't wait to get out of here.
It's consistent.
Us handwriting?
That's what you wrote.
Not recently.
No.
How to test age of handwriting. Sniff.
I have
Count the
calligraphy.
rings in the ink.
Is it? I wouldn't even trust the ink. I wouldn't even trust the age of it. I'd have to check and see if it's been like there for a while.
What about the other two?
How many?
I'm not looking for those two. I mean, I assume they're in there. I am.
How do you react?
I think the pieces are going to be falling a little bit into place. And I have to wonder, first off, how many times we perhaps have paid Judic.
We getting our money back.
Classic
He was very willing to accept payment and lead us to something where many people have died before. Perhaps he knew we were good for it. Through experience.
I mean, no one's ever said cryptic shit to me before today. So if I've been going around
in the bar talking to the bull-headed man,
people remember me. I'm like a weird blue-skinned girl with horns.
I'm giant and red with horns.
Right.
We stick out as a
We're
team. We stick out.
remarkable.
I mean, look at Sal.
very much so, on multiple levels.
Everyone, shopkeepers, Judic, they've all been talking to Cassidy, and no one's ever said, "Oh, and you, horn lady."
No. That's not what happened. We went to the Verdant City, and I told you that place was strange, and we left feeling much less strange than when we were there. Perhaps that was part of it. Perhaps everyone in there was a little bit less forthcoming because they were not able to be more forthcoming. Perhaps the innkeeper was aware that we did not want to be told. If we were there to be told, oh, we should have asked so many more questions. This changes nothing. We have our task ahead of us. We need to get the keys, and then we need to leave. Simple.
Can I use this like triggering of remembering or like just seeing Sal remember to use my knowledge of a past life and just try to remember something about Sal? Anything?
Sure. Yeah. Go for it.
Okay. What would you put that roll at?
Whatever you'd like.
Paranoia.
Would you allow insight?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. Sick. Okay. Okay. 23.
Wow. Nice.
You better get a very confident no. You don't know
Adequate.
anything.
Yeah. You sort of close your eyes real tight. And as you hear this arguing around you, Sal and Brea and Garrett, nothing changes. And just like, and you're sitting at a bar in the Verdant City. And you turn to the person next to you who is similar to Sal. No wolf features, just a half-orc. And you sort of awkwardly say, "Hey, can I buy you a drink?" And Sal very rudely is like, "Nope, I don't want to be here anymore." And after a little bit of back and forth, you sort of say, "Well, could you at least sign this?" And you see Sal grab a pen from you and say, "I don't want to be here," and underline it and hand you the pen back. And then you come back to the cave as they're arguing.
So I just remembered something.
Oh, you did. Okay. Good.
Which was?
I just remember, Sal, we met in the Verdant City before this. And you didn't look the same as you do now. Like a lot less legs.
Like a lot.
Well, that's pretty convenient, isn't it? Are you in on this with Judic too?
No, I
Do the two of you split the money that we give you?
I didn't even have any money when I first met you. Something jogged my memory, and it just came to me all of a sudden, just like the same thing as when I remembered Garrus's brother.
This is bullshit. Brea
he's
stands up
great.
from the campfire and she starts pacing around, gesturing wildly. There's no way. We've been together this whole time. You're taking us for a ride. I can sense these things.
No, I swear to God, I'm I don't remember. Maybe I did in a past laugh, and if I did, I'm really sorry. But I swear to God, this time, I've told you everything that I know.
All right.
Which isn't much.
I have a solution for all of this. Harlan, can I rehydrate my moss?
Jesus Christ. No, it's all dead.
Of course,
Kill
it's
your
a
moss.
moss-based solution.
Buddy, calm down. Rehydrating the moss.
Yeah, sure. You rehydrate the moss. Why not?
Okay.
I mean, it's dead, but you can get it
No,
wet.
it can't be dead.
It's dead and wet.
It's so dead. It's so dead.
dead.
It's been
How do
3
I
days. You took cave moss from a cave. Erica, I love this idea. But. Look, you have some cave moss in a little safe jar.
Okay. How
But
much?
it is a living organism that has died, sadly, under your watch.
How much of it?
As much as was fit in a glass jar.
Okay. So eat that.
You're going to eat it?
Yeah. Everything I have left.
Okay.
There's no one better to tell us what's going on than ourselves.
Brea's got her knife out.
Ooh.
And she's stalking around the fire. She is kind of losing her mind at this point. If what you say is true, and I kill one of us, or myself right now, we'll just come back, right? There's no penalty.
The penalty is to stay here longer. And as I may have expressed once via text, I do not want that.
That's good.
And we don't know if, since we were the party that got the key, if one of us goes, does the key go with it and we have to start all over again?
But the three of us that remain will remember exactly where to go and get it.
But it's such a pain.
I just don't like feeling like someone is messing with me. And I don't know if I can trust... Well, Garrus, sure. Sal, yes, we've been through things together. Cassidy and this campfire guy, and there's no way that this has happened to me, that I've met these people that I don't remember. I didn't change. Why don't I look like Sal if I died?
I changed. Only a little. Just in my abilities.
You saying that you believe them, Garrus?
As usual, I didn't think anything of it. And now you mention it, I suppose it is a possibility, but... And he'll look to Cassidy and just be like, I think I trust Cassidy. Judic, another story altogether. I mean, Judic is motivated by money, and that's a dangerous thing. Cassidy has had no reason to stick with us, other than to help us out and hopefully receive some help from us, is my assumption. And you knew my brother. I don't know if you're fooling us, but...
You talked about your brother when we were in the Verdant City.
True. I mean, true. But... I suppose eventually you have to make a choice. Which way you're going to go. I don't think killing any one of us, or that will just reset one or many of us. We're on
What do you
a
think,
good roll
Sal?
right now.
I think the only reason I need to know if we died somewhere is so that we don't die again. We have one key. I don't want to lose it. I don't want to have to reset and apparently become more... If this is what they're saying happens, I would like to avoid that. Further. So, as long as we can find a way to avoid dying again, supposing it has happened before, I think we can continue to work together. Even
As
with
if
Judy,
transforming into other creatures isn't kind of your thing already.
I usually transform back.
Who's to say Sal didn't die and come back before he met us?
And how
Sal
do you
didn't
know
die
what you
when we
look
were
like?
together.
How do you know what you look like before you even got here, Brea?
What I looked like?
Yeah.
Because I remember.
How?
What do you mean, how?
I remember
I'm like,
too.
whatever you're claiming to be, whoever you're claiming to be, I remember my family. I remember where I came from. I remember the ship that we took. I remember everything.
Question. If we were to have had this conversation before, perhaps one of us would have angrily scrawled something on the walls as a next time we're here, we'll just look here and know we'll have our message to ourselves.
Are you suggesting we just scour the world for graffiti that looks like we could have done it?
No, just places that we camped. Convenience.
Which would have been the
convenience.
same as where we're camping now. Probably.
Great. She picks up a piece of firewood, like a torch, and she brandishes it at the walls in like a throwaway, stupid gesture. Great, Sal. So there's going to be just something on the wall over here saying, Brea was here, and I'm sorry I got angry at Cassidy.
And hopefully it was something more useful than that. Is there, out of curiosity?
No, you look around the cave and there's nothing written.
She
at all.
throws the piece of firewood back in the fire, and a scatter of ashes and sparks just flies everywhere. This is bullshit.
I'm going to write that message on the wall right now, just in case.
Great. Do that.
Okay.
Yeah. You stand up and you write on the wall, and Brea, do you go for a walk outside?
Yeah,
or-
I'm fuming.
Yeah. Brea exits the cave and enters the howling night air. Cassidy, what do you do?
I feel like Brea just doesn't want to reach the end. Brea just doesn't know what she wants, and that's why she's angry, because she can't figure it out, and feel like she'll do anything to prolong this journey. And that's fine. I'm fine to take as long as we need, but I really am telling the truth.
For what it's worth, I believe you.
Don't hear that.
I don't know if we're not being messed with. I don't think it's by you. Brea. I don't know. This is very new, or at least we think this is very new for us. I
Cassidy,
feel like he'll pick up the book and just out of curiosity, I'm gonna see if I can find my handwriting in this, or Brea's, and we'll just the same thing, just kind of peruse through the pages.
Yeah.
if it reassures Cassidy at all, I would like to tell her that I've seen Garrus rip out a man's tongue in front of me, and we've been friends ever since. So really,
I did do that. It was a
nothing has
low
nothing to do
moment.
with us. No.
It was a low moment.
If anything, it brought us closer together as a team. Silence, trust, secrecy. Until this moment, of course, but you'll forget, so we're fine.
I feel like we all shared
Wow.
the very same recent memories. I think that's why it's so difficult for Brea, and honestly difficult for me to think that we've been here, or we've died, and nothing, no memory whatsoever. That is slightly terrifying. Because it's so clear that we
What if-
just died.
What if it was you that I killed that first time and not your brother?
Ooh.
And Karis will just... He was standing, and he will just sit down and be like...
Sorry, this is funnier to me. I've been through this a few times.
I thought I liked it here, but it's a weird place, this.
And Garrus, as you flip through the pages idly, your fingers run along the seam to where a page has been ripped out. Brea, you're walking through the howling winds, kicking stones angrily.
Yeah.
And as you do, you see a figure on the cusp of the chasm.
Hey, you!
The tall man turns around slowly. He's maybe 3 feet taller than you. He's huge.
Yeah, I storm up to him. I'm not done talking to you yet.
He turns around slowly, his cloak billowing in the wind, and you see every once in a while glimpses of what lie underneath
scary.
animalistic, greasy black hair. He looks down at you with lifeless eyes.
How do you know what you claim to know? If you've gone through as many cycles as Cassidy has. She doesn't have anything left in that brain. She's a husk. How do you have any answers at all?
Cassidy cannot withstand another death before
What?
becoming what I am.
And what are you?
He looks around. I am a part of this world. I can no longer leave. And he looks down at you, Brea.
Yes.
Make a different choice this time. And he steps back as like a particularly thick gust of dirt-filled wind sort of just swirls around him. And as it departs, he's gone. But you see the outline of Judic. You recognize her tall ears, and she's pacing back and forth at the edge of a chasm, sort of gesturing wildly with her hands, her back towards you.
Can I hear anything? Is the wind too loud?
You can sneak up. Give me a stealth roll.
Yeah, I want to sneak. Stealth. Okay. 21.
Yeah. You sneak up silent, using the wind to your advantage, and you crouch behind a rock to see Judic yelling over the wind. A conversation, an argument has reached a fever pitch, and you hear her blurt out, "Because she doesn't fucking remember!" And as you look down, you see her yelling at Davmop, who's sitting there with its head sort of to the side, angrily eyeing her. And Judic points and says, "Not again. Not again." And she turns and heads back to the cave. We're going to end there for tonight.
No, let's keep playing.
Getting good.
Let's keep
Goodness
playing.
gracious.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight. This has been Hereafter Chapter 7. We're off next week, unfortunately, but I think we're back the week after on the 30th, depending on how we're doing. I think we're 30th is back on. This has been an absolute blast. Huge round of applause for these amazing players tonight. As always, startling revelations and beautiful monologues. Well done, everybody.
That was a good one to start the show, Gary. Really
Yeah,
good.
great.
I loved
Good job,
that.
Gary.
Set the tone.
Yeah, very, very good. I'm excited to see what happens and where this steam train rolls. So make sure you come back in 2 weeks as we continue on. We're also going to be streaming tomorrow night on Invictus. Myself, Gary, Joe, and James will be running something very silly, I'm sure. I don't know what it is, but I also didn't write anything for tonight, so that's how we roll. That is it from us. Have a wonderful night, and we will see you, as always, around the table. Good night.
Good night.